Hey, what's happening, guys? It's Nick here from Rainy Night Tarot. I hope that you're doing well tonight. I appreciate joining in with me. I just noticed we got strength on the bottom of the deck, and you know I like to start my readings with a story. So let's start with a story. I've had some pretty crazy, some phenomenal, some incredible, some horrifying and terrifying paranormal experiences. They followed me my entire lifetime since I was just a little boy. You know, it started with dreams and night terrors and then sleep paralysis. And because that's the only way they could get to me at the time, you know, until I opened up the abyss. And if you don't know what that means, it's basically lifting the veil, piercing the veil, opening the void, going into the darkness, opening up the spiritual realm. And I made the mistake of doing that long before I had awakened the divine feminine within me. At that time, I didn't know that I was an Arcturian. Now, let me say this. If you're a reptilian soul or a dark soul and you open up the abyss or open up the void, the devil, Baal, the reptilian god, whatever you want to call him, the demonic king, he asks you what you want. If you're an Arcturian soul and you happen to open up the abyss and you're not prepared or ready for it, you come under attack and you're in trouble. And I came under attack, horrifying attack. And I've talked about a little bit about some of it in some of my other videos, but suffice to say, man, it was not pleasant whatsoever, and it lasted a long time for years. I had come across this ritual in an old grimoire, and I knew that this stuff was real, and I was curious, and I wanted to know more. I knew that things were after me, that they had been after me since I was a little boy, and I had just gotten fed up with it, and I wanted to know exactly what it was. I wanted to see it. I wanted to know everything that I could, and I was curious. And I know curiosity sometimes kills the cat, and it almost killed this cat. Trust me. So, in this ritual, it included stomping on the floor 3 times to complete the ritual, and it included an epithet and mantras and some things that you recite. And as an Arcturian, I've always been very sensitive to magic, and I have to watch what I say. That's where word spelling comes from, because words are a spell. You have to talk highly of yourself, and but I was very sensitive to magic, and so, but I didn't know what I was getting into, and I didn't know I was an Octurian at that time. So when I opened up the abyss, when I lifted the veil, these things were waiting on me. They were waiting for their chance, their opportunity. And this thing stepped out of the darkness and it hissed at me, and it was a demonic reptilian, and it said, Nick, and it jumped on me, and it just hung on, and I fought this thing all night. I fought it for days and couldn't get it off me. It was crawling all over me. It even told me what it was going to do to me. I could hear it. It was speaking to me telepathically in words. It told me it was going to encapsulate me. And it did. It messed with my magnetic field, messed with my nervous system, put me through all kinds of physical pain. I felt like I constantly had something crawling on me. And it went on like this for so long that I started to go through this like Donnie Darko thing where I was like almost like seizing out because I was suffering with sleep paralysis, demonic oppression, demonic possession. Yeah, I had made a pretty big mistake opening the abyss, and I would never recommend anyone opening the abyss unless they are absolutely 100% prepared and they have awakened the divine feminine, and they're protected, and they're ready spiritually. I wasn't ready at the time, but I got ready real quick. We'll just put it that way. So now, that's one of the more horrifying, terrifying experiences. And when I was under demonic reptilian attack, that's actually how I've started to realize and figure out that I was an Arcturian starseed, because I would wake up in the middle of the night under attack, and I'd wake up and have Arcturians standing over top of me. They were my Arcturian guides, and they're just like what they look like in the YouTube videos and pictures. They're blue, they glow, they're 12th dimensional ascended beings, they're beautiful, and I've had dreams about them, and I knew that I came from Arcturus, and because I used to dream about this place as a kid, and I used to dream about these blue beings. Kind of similar to the movie Avatar, but not really. There's no hair on their head, but they have the collars, kind of like you think like aliens would have. They actually do. And but I when I opened up the abyss, like, not only did all these dark entities come out of the woodwork and attack me, but all the loving and light beings came too, and they came to watch what was happening to me, and they tried to help me through it, and they did. And eventually, the Arcturians came to my rescue, and Sophia awakened within me, and I was saved by the divine feminine, thank God, and thank source and my guides. But Anyway, yeah, I just wanted to talk about that. Another cool experience I had is, working with the Fae. They can be, I tell you guys that they can be tricksters at times, but in a good way. They're real funny, man. They'll tickle me. They actually get physical with me. They touch me. A lot of my guides touch me. Like, even, like, during the reptilian demonic attack, I had things crawling all over me. Well, even now to this day, like, I'll have things, like, crawling on me, but, like, lovingly. And they would tickle me, and sometimes in like front of people to like get me to like laugh or act weird, and people would give me like strange looks like, what the hell, is this guy crazy or something? And I knew that they were doing it intentionally because they thought it was funny, and I thought it was funny too. I can take a joke. So anyway, yeah, I just wanted to tell you guys a couple stories, and pull some cards. Let's do a let's do a past, present, future with a Katian deck, and then we'll pull a couple cards with the Rider Waite deck. So let's see. Alright, so I call upon the Divine Feminine, I call upon Source, I call upon my angels and my ancestors for protection. Give me a card for the past, for the 144K collective of Lightworkers and Starseed Spirit. Okay, we got Nature. It's funny that that came up because I was actually, I lived out in the woods for a long time. When I came under demonic attack, reptilian attack, everything in my life just took a fall. I mean, the things that these reptilians are able to do to you, it's unbelievable. And I became, it's no wonder I became homeless and hooked on drugs for a little while. Thank God, thank Sophia that I was able to turn my life around and get myself together, and it's amazing how far I come and how much I've survived, and I'm so grateful to God for that. But so we've got Nature for the past. I work with the elementals too. That's basically what the Fae are. Different type of elemental beings. So, all right, yeah, let's pull a card for present. What do you have for the present for us, Sakate? All right, so we have Sovereignty for the presence. So, yeah, we're all the way up right now. We're on top. The Divine Feminine Sophia flows through me now and forever. And so we got Sovereignty. The Divine Presence flows through us. Leadership. 144K. Chosen and winning all the way. All right, what do you have for the future for us, Sakate? What does the near future hold for the 144K collective? Salvation, sovereignty, and salvation. So we're in an energy of sovereignty right now, and salvation is on the way. That's such a beautiful card, isn't it? Kind of reminds me of somebody. But anyway, all right, let's pull a few cards with the Rider Waite deck. All right, Spirit, give us like 2 or 3 cards with the Rider Waite deck, just to see what other kind of energies we have going on right now with the collective. Okay, so we got the 6 of Cups. So this is like, I just was talking about like childhood and family and memories and, growing up. And in my last video, I mentioned my grandmother, man. And man, she's been a big part of my ascent, man. All my ancestors, I'm definitely guided by my ancestors. And yeah, this card means a lot to me, man. It's about happiness, childhood memories, family. All right, what else do you have for us, Spirit? All right, so we got the Queen of Swords in reverse. Tell me more about the Queen of Swords in reverse, Spirit. Okay, so yeah, we need to kind of be prepared, be on the defensive. I think we're dealing with some jealous people, man. Some karmic people from our past. Some people that we used to be close to that we're not even talking to anymore that just don't want to see succeed. And, I find that really sad because I want everybody else to succeed. And, you know, I've done some things. I have to protect my energy, and I would advise you guys to do the same and to choose yourself the way that I did. And that's how you're going to make a change in your life, and that's how you're going to see your manifestations, your dreams come to reality and come true. So yeah, watch out for these jealous, envious people. Thank God I'm protected because there's always somebody trying to curse me, or always somebody trying to hex me or send some voodoo my way. Even now, just because I'm ascending and I'm living in 5D now, don't think that all comes to an end because it doesn't. And God, I've bounced off so many curses and sent so many entities back to sender throughout the years, man. And there are some really wicked, nasty, demonic reptilian entities out there. Let me tell you. And these people that work with them, man, they don't know what they're getting themselves into because eventually they turn on them. And you don't want to mess with a chosen one anyway, man. That's just a bad idea. Just don't do it. See, look at me. I even feel bad for my enemies, man. And I tried to warn them, but whatever. Let's just let's just move on. One more card, Spirit. One more card before we go. Okay, yeah, we got the Three of Pentacles in reverse. So this is like you know, jumping out of old cycles. This is like overcoming like energy blocks. And I would suggest to all you guys out there to watching like sound healing videos or Reiki videos. Watch some of these shamans online, because it really works. If you state your intent and you put full belief into it, and it's all about what you put your attention on. You want to keep your vibration and your frequency high. You want to stay aligned, and releasing energy blocks and cutting energetic cords, and doing mantras, stating epithets, affirmations. That all helps. So yeah, we'll just leave it at that, you guys. Good reading. I love you guys. Rainy Night Tarot. A lot to come. See you guys soon. Peace.